What's up guys, it's Aaronitmar, and today we are back with more Taunt Origins. This time we're of course going to be tackling the DLC characters all the way through the first Fighter Pass, and it's hard to believe that we still only have one character from the second Fighter Pass released. But without further ado, let's jump in. First up is Piranha Plant, who's kind of an odd character that exists in the gray area of being neither a Fighter Pass nor base roster character. But we're talking about DLC, and he's DLC, so I think that this is the best place for him. Piranha Plant's up taunt has it go very rigid and move up and down, a clear reference to their first appearance in Super Mario Bros. For the NES. They've since become far more animated, moving in a variety of ways in the later Mario games, but this is the way that they behaved in their very first debut. Side Taunt is a Smash original, kind of similar to Bowser and K. Rool's taunts, which is just meant to emphasize the big mouth and the sharp teeth that a Piranha Plant has. And lastly is Down Taunt, where Piranha Plant spins around and strikes a pose. I personally think that this is a Smash original, but I suppose that you could make an argument that says that this taunt is based on old art of Piranha Plant. I'm honestly not 100% sure. Today's video is sponsored by Manji Store and the Command Shell. This case has a fantastic build quality with a soft touch on top of straps on the Joy-Con cover, so you know that you are playing with security. And for all you Joy-Con collectors out there, additional Command Cons are available for individual purchase. The Command Shell also has a built-in kickstand, and it comes with a free charging cable, so that while you're playing tabletop mode, you can charge and not worry about battery. They also have the Command Case, which works in tandem with the Command Shell, so you know that your Switch is safe even during transport. At $22.99 and free shipping in the US and UK, you can hardly find a better deal anywhere. So head on over to manjistore.com to pick up the Switch Command Shell or to place your pre-order for the Switch Lite version coming very soon. Next, we'll move on to the first official Fighter Pass fighter, fighter number 71, Joker from Persona 5. First, let's look at Up Taunt, where Joker strikes a pose pulling at his glove. This is a well-known pose and is used multiple times in Smash, including Joker's final Smash, because it comes from the pose that Joker strikes at the end of an all-out attack in Persona 5. During this taunt, Morgana appears, saying,
"Looking cool, Joker!"
Morgana is one of the party members available in Persona 5, and the line he says is a potential voice clip used during battles. And yes, it's become quite the meme. Side Taunt has Joker point his gun forward while holding his knife underneath. This pose seems to be Smash original, and it simply shows off Joker's two main weapons in his moveset. Morgana again appears, laughing while his eyes turn starry. Morgana's eyes can turn starry throughout Persona 5 as one of the potential headshots used for the game's dialogue boxes. And lastly is Down Taunt, where Joker strikes a pose facing away from the camera while Morgana hops up in the air. This pose is very similar to art that was made for Joker's appearance in Catherine Full Body, another Atlus game. Even though Catherine Full Body was not released until after Joker was released in Smash, the game itself was announced before Joker's announcement for Smash. So it isn't too much of a stretch to say that Sakurai could have seen this art during any of his consults with Atlus and decided to use it as the basis for one of his taunts. Unique to Joker is Arsene, who can potentially be out at any time during a match and who has his own animation for when Joker taunts. Arsene strikes the exact same pose from his official Persona 5 art. Unfortunately, regardless of taunt, Arsene only does this single animation, but I think it's cool nonetheless. If you guys will indulge me for a second, almost haha funny number 69% of you guys are not subscribed, and you may not even realize it. So go down there, check that subscribe button, and if you are not subscribed, please be sure to do so. Next, let's talk Hero, the four-way character representing the Dragon Quest franchise. While there are 4 different models on this slot, the taunts all remain exactly the same, so even though I'm only showing the default costume, everything applies across the board. Hero's up taunt has him surround himself with a pink aura before it ultimately bursts. This is the original animation for Psych Up, which first debuted in Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. Psych Up is an ability that increases tension, which is a mechanic that allows for multiplied damage during battles. Psych Up is also used in Hero's moveset, but it uses a totally different animation. Side Taunt has the hero hold his given sword straight up over his head. This happens multiple times throughout Dragon Quest XI, and it's kind of just a trope for sword users in general. And lastly is Down Taunt, where Hero sort of stumbles backwards while a slime hops by. The slime is the mascot of the Dragon Quest series, because while everything changes from game to game, the enemies and such remain the same for the most part, and the slime became a fan favorite that eventually turned into the mascot. While this animation doesn't necessarily have a link to something specific, I think that it could potentially be a reference to how Dragon Quests 1 through 8 had random monster encounters, as the slime suddenly appears and the hero looks very shocked about it. Dragon Quest 9 and onward implemented, for the most part, monster battles that are encountered by seeing the monster in the overworld. Next up is Banjo and his best pal Kazooie. Starting off is Up Taunt, which I believe is the only actual reference to Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts in this entire character. Banjo stretches upward while Kazooie sticks her head outward. This is based on an idle animation from Nuts and Bolts on the Xbox 360. Next up is Side Taunt, where they strike a pose with Banjo going to one side and Kazooie going to the other while they both look at each other. Smash definitely took its liberties with this one because this exact animation never really happens in any of the Banjo games, but it's based on the pose that both Banjo and Kazooie hit in the very beginning of the opening sequence of the first game. Lastly is Down Taunt, where Banjo bows twice while doing his iconic. This comes from Banjo Kazooie in two different places. The first is when Banjo and Kazooie collect all 10 Jiggies in a given world, and the second is when they open up a note door inside of Grunty's lair. Next, let's move on to Terry. Just like the Street Fighter reps, Terry's taunts and animations both come largely from his long library of games. We'll start with his well-known,
"Hey, come on!
Where he gestures with his finger, which is based on his intro pose and taunt from Fatal Fury 2 and King of Fighters 94. Side Taunt sees him stand up straight and taunt with his hand, and is based on his victory pose from Garou, Mark of the Wolves, though Terry has a very, very different design in that game. Lastly is Down Taunt, where Terry takes off his hat and spins it on his finger, which is based on the match start animation from both Fatal Fury 3 Road to the Final Victory and Real Bout Fatal Fury. Not much more to say there, it's pretty straight to the point on all of those references. And last but not least is Byleth from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. For Byleth's Up Taunt, they sweep their sword before putting their fist to their chest. This comes from the victory animation used by Byleth in 3 Houses. It also serves as one of Byleth's victory screens in Smash Ultimate. For Side Taunt, Byleth holds the Sword of the Creator out. The animation itself is original to Smash as far as I can tell, but the two potential quotes both have references.
Let the lesson begin!
Is Byleth's critical hit quote, while
Stay focused
is when Byleth is selected on the battlefield. And lastly is Down Taunt, where Byleth whips the sword around their body, which for the most part I can only conclude is Smash original. And that does it for all of the taunts all the way up through Fighter Pass 1. Now yes, I know Min Min is already out, and so I could potentially do the taunts for her, but I want to keep it all sort of segmented, and so she will remain with the Fighter Pass 2 characters when the time comes for me to do a video on that. It could be 2021 for all I know, but that video will come someday. With that, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and please be sure to be good to one another.
というところだと思います。